The ocean covers most of our planet, and most of it we still haven't seen. Out there in the dark water are things that don't quite make sense. A wave the size of a building that sailors once swore didn't exist. An ocean that glows, from horizon to horizon, for months. A hole in the seafloor so deep no one has reached the bottom. Sounds from the deep that no one can name. These aren't legends. They were measured, recorded, and mapped. And science still can't fully explain them. In this video, we're diving into 5 real ocean mysteries that researchers still can't fully explain. Not sea monsters, not myths, just real measurements and real open questions. We'll start at the surface with something science dismissed for centuries. For hundreds of years, sailors came back with the same impossible story. Out of a normal sea, a single wall of water, far taller than everything around it, would rise up and crash straight down. Scientists didn't believe them. The math said waves that big should almost never happen, so the stories were filed away as exaggeration. Then, on New Year's Day 1995, an oil platform in the North Sea called Draupner recorded one. A single wave over 25 meters high, around 84 feet, in seas half that size. For the first time, a rogue wave had been measured. Since then, they've been recorded again and again. We now know they're real and roughly how they form. Trains of waves lining up, currents focusing their energy, smaller waves stacking into one giant. What we still can't do reliably is predict them. The latest research can sometimes spot a warning pattern seconds, maybe a minute before one strikes. But out on the open ocean, a rogue wave can still appear almost out of nowhere. The next mystery isn't about the water's force, it's about its light. Sailors have another old story, and this one is stranger. On certain nights, in certain seas, the water begins to glow. Not sparkles in the wake, a steady, even light stretching from horizon to horizon, sometimes bright enough to read by. It can last for nights, even months. They call it a Milky Sea. For centuries, it was almost impossible to study. These events are rare, remote, and gone before anyone can reach them. Then, satellites learned to see them from space. In 2019, one glowed off the coast of Java, larger than some countries. The leading explanation is bacteria, countless trillions of a light-producing species glowing together once their numbers cross a certain point. But here's the honest part. We still don't really know how a Milky Sea forms, why it happens where it does, or how that much life coordinates into one single steady glow. A 2025 study even tied them to global climate patterns. The recipe is out there. We just can't read it yet. From light at the surface, we go straight down, into a hole with no known bottom. Scattered across the world's shallow seas are dark circles, openings in the sea floor that drop straight down into blackness. They're called blue holes, flooded caves and sinkholes, some far deeper than anyone expected. In 2024, researchers studying one off the coast of Mexico, Tom Ja, got a shock. Their instruments went down more than 400 meters and still didn't reach the bottom. That makes it the deepest known blue hole on Earth, and no one yet knows how deep it truly goes. There are signs of hidden tunnels and caves branching off inside, possibly linking it to the open sea. Inside these holes, the water separates into layers. Near the bottom, the oxygen disappears completely, and yet strange microbial life still clings on in the dark. Each blue hole is a sealed world we've barely entered. We can lower a sensor in, we mostly can't go down there ourselves. The next mystery, we can't see at all. We can only hear it. In the 1990s, underwater microphones built to listen for submarines started picking up sounds no one could identify. They came from the deep ocean. They were enormously powerful, loud enough to be detected across thousands of kilometers, and they matched no ship, no animal, no instrument on record. Scientists gave them names: the bloop, Julia, slow down, upsweep. The most famous, the bloop, was so loud that some wondered if it came from a living thing larger than any known animal. Years later, researchers traced it to something almost stranger: the sound of massive Antarctic ice cracking and grinding far away. An icequake. But not all of them have an answer. A few of those deep ocean sounds have never been fully identified. Their exact source is still debated. In an ocean this vast and this dark, we're still listening to things we can't quite name. And the final sound has been calling, alone, for over 30 years. In 1989, the US Navy detected a whale call in the North Pacific, but at the wrong pitch. Blue whales sing at around 10 to 40 hertz, fin whales similar. This one called at 52 hertz, much higher, a frequency no other whale seemed to use. Year after year, the same voice returned, tracing a lonely path across the ocean, always at 52 hertz. And, as far as anyone could tell, always alone. No other whale answered on that frequency. The press called it the loneliest whale in the world. No one has ever seen it. We still don't know for certain what it is, possibly a rare hybrid of two whale species. Some scientists caution we may be reading too much loneliness into it. And, since 2010, there are hints of a second 52 hertz voice out there. So the story may not be as sad as it sounds. But more than 30 years on, the whale itself has never been found. A single voice in the dark, still calling, and we still don't fully know whose it is. 5 mysteries, 1 ocean, a wave that shouldn't exist, a sea that glows, a hole with no bottom, sounds we can't name, a voice we can't place. What they share is simple. The ocean is the largest, deepest, least explored place on Earth, and we've barely begun to look. The mystery isn't that we know nothing. It's how much is still down there, waiting. If you want to keep exploring the unknown, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.